has to do with holiday traditions. And so the folks that are on this call today are all from performing arts companies that have performed in the Warner Grand. And I want to give a warm shout out to Lee Sweet, who is the theater manager at the Warner Grand. I noticed that he signed up to be on this call and or whatever we call this. And we all have fond memories of Lee and his sense of humor and being welcomed into the Warner Grand. And we really miss not being there, and we miss not seeing you in the Warner Grand. And so everybody tonight's going to be talking about things that they would normally do if they were preparing to do a live show. I just want to go back to the slides here and talk about some of the work that the Arts District has been doing on the streets. We got a grant from the chamber, or from the council office to repaint and repair the dot boxes that are on the streets. And this one is at 6th and Harbor. And this box originally was painted, and the whole box went somewhere else. So we got Sky to repaint it, which is nice to have this little turtle in town again. This is Mar Young, and this is at 15th and Gaffey. It was really badly tagged, and she put it back in place. And so we're really proud to see that again. It's one of my favorite ones. And here's a box by Kate Kelton, which is by the Starbucks. Those drippy things are not tags. That's what she intended. And so it was nice to see these faces back repaired again. And this is a box by Adrian Wade, was one of the original boxes that we did, and it's at 7th and Pacific. And we just finished this mural. There's a new car wash going in on North Gaffey called the Lucky 7 Car Wash. And Ricky Hernandez, who painted a mural on a dot box at First and Gaffey, did this mural for us as well. So I'm really proud of him. His work has progressed really nicely. So we're going to start today with Carla Rojo, as soon as I can figure out how to minimize my slides, from Encore. And so I'm going to pitch it over to you, and she's here with her partner in crime, Christiana Fredericks.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome. We're very glad to see you. I am here tonight with Christiana to give you a little idea of what Encore does during the holiday season and what we've been doing over at the Warner Grand Theater.
You might want to say a little bit about you.
I am the executive director, and I have been with Encore about almost 11 years now. I started off as a parent volunteer of an aspiring young actress, and wound up helping them put together a financial system. And I have the privilege and honor today of being their executive director. And with me is my friend.
I'm Christiana. I've been with Encore for about 6 years. I am now the director of services, and we've just had a great time being a part of the community in San Pedro and getting to work here as well.
The backbone of Encore is our mission statement. And to put it in one line, we would like to be a community that's very warm and welcoming to anybody who wants to be a part of the arts. It is very important for us to strive to be open to everybody, a safe place, and a very productive place to do theater arts. We were established in 2009. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, and we were primarily out of the beach cities, and we began to grow. In about 2012, we really wanted to reach out a little further, and the Warner Grand was very, very welcoming to us. We really can't say enough about Lee and how he facilitated us coming in, and what a great fit it has been for us. It's been 8 really wonderful years there.
We've really appreciated the welcome from the San Pedro community and getting to work with everybody in the arts. And it's a community that values the arts so much. And we've also gotten to spend some time with our friends at Grand Vision, who have helped us get situated in San Pedro. And it's just been a great time.
When we came into San Pedro, one of the first things that we got involved with was the annual San Pedro Parade.
And we've had a blast being a part of it for the last at least about 5 years. So you can see here some of the different pictures. We typically have a parade float, as well as actors and participants that'll usually march or dance behind, and they get to sing. And we're so excited to have everybody be in costume out there on the streets interacting with the community. And we hand out tons of flyers with all discounted tickets and just try to bring everybody into the theater. It's been a lot of fun. It's a nice way to preview the show because it happens just a couple weeks before the show. And you can see a quick video here.
And that was last year, getting ready for The Mermaid going up in 2020.
And we were so glad to put Little Mermaid up in February before everything changed for a while, but this was one of our ones, and that's a great holiday tradition that we always enjoy every year. Another holiday tradition we have is it's right before our shows go up, as we said. So it's a lot of tech preparation, tech week getting started, and just a lot of fun and busyness happening.
The marquee is very special to us because when we put the marquee up, when our name goes up and the show goes up, it's like our heart rate goes up. We get really excited. Ticketing's going, a lot of buildings. So the minute our name's on the marquee and the show's up, it's go time, and we are very happy.
Here you can start to see some of the people. It truly takes a village to get the show up. So as we mentioned, we love being a part of the community. Here you can see a lot of the different jobs. We've got some of our stage managers, directors, choreographers. We've got some of the Warner Grand staff. There's Mark King there. We've got the teenagers who can be a part of the show on the front of the stage, or they can be behind the stage as well. And so that has been a great part of this.
We are really grateful to all our creative staff too. You know, we have amazing choreographers, directors, vocal directors, our orchestra led by Matt Visk. We're just so lucky for our creative team.
It's truly, they are a part of the village too. We've got all these staff that are from the community and then tons and tons of volunteers. So here you can kind of see they're putting up our Matilda set. There was also a 2020 production, and the set that's flying into the sky right there was over 1,500 pounds. So it took a lot of volunteers to get it raised, quite literally.
So hard. Like, it's amazing to watch them put up this set. We often do shows that have a flying component, and you can see there's Peter Pan, and there is Jed Sura working on climbing the side of the wall for Mary Poppins. And to make this look so effortless, there is a team of people in gear with weights, with pulleys, getting them ready they're prepping to fly so that everyone's safe. It's a lot of work, but it's so much fun.
And that's one of the biggest traditions, is just theater takes a lot of work. Any live performance takes a lot of work behind the scenes and a lot of practice. And so you can see sometimes there's some downtime, but it's a great opportunity to make some friends. And we've been lucky to have everybody make great friendships.
Now, this video is very deceiving. This is the tap dancing rats. I actually took this video from inside the theater. And what I find so interesting is you're seeing them tap dance, but what's really going on is backstage, Craig Benson is working on putting on the set. In the front is Kim Spruth and Laura Deanna putting up all the merchandise. We've got Vicky Trigas putting up a tech meal. We've got the concessions going up, you know, with the Brocks and the Wolfermans. So many people, there's so many things going on, and all you're really seeing is this little picture of people tap dancing. But I remember all of this is going on, including the lighting design. So it's so busy in this one moment.
And we've been so lucky to put up more than 20 productions at the Warner Grand Theater, with a few as well at the Grand Vision Theater and that nice little space they've got there as well. And this is just a list of a few of them. And just some pictures from Mary Poppins, from Annie, from Shrek, and from the recent Little Mermaid. And we love being a part of the community. Here's a few pictures of the community from after the show. And we've just really enjoyed getting to bring anybody in. You don't have to have any experience. You can come from any job, any background. We are so happy to have you and to come jump on in the show. And we have even had people walk in the day of auditions. Just they saw the doors open while we were auditioning at Warner Grand Theater, and all of a sudden they're in a show. And it's been very cool. One of the other traditions we have getting started through there is our Wall of Awesome, which was started by one of our wonderful backstage coordinators, Melissa Wong. And so she got everybody going. It can be a long and tiring week, but this was a great way for people to share some positivities, share something you saw one of your friends do, share something you're really enjoying doing, and just keep that positivity and gratitude going throughout the week. Another encore tradition is to light up the theater. So another way we like to bring the community and make them feel involved with our productions and with our company going forward is using something to light up so they can have some audience participation. So here they helped bring Tinkerbell back to life with all of their wands. And you can also see that at the end of Beauty and the Beast, everybody had a light up rose. So when the spell was broken, everybody could turn on their roses and just enjoy a fun moment being a little bit of part of the show. And our last encore tradition that we were going to share with you tonight is after the show, we like to send the cast out still in costume. And so they come out and are just wonderfully gracious with meeting the audience and taking pictures, and they get to have so much fun, and they love getting to interact with the people who watched them that night. So instead of just ending the show when they're still on stage, it kind of goes on a little bit longer into a fun way to bring everybody in.
We think that theater is very important to get to young people and to youth. And we do field trip shows, and we do have the local schools come and see the shows, but we also work with the Los Angeles Police Department, and we bus kids in from all over the place. And I think we're at almost 10,000 students now that we bussed in with them. And it is one of the best parts of our job, having young people come in and see theater, many who have never seen live theater before.
So we've also gotten to put up a few junior productions where it's an all children's cast on the Warner Grand stage or the Grand Vision stage. And so you can see some of those where they get to work together to learn how to put their show up and get that all done, as well as some Shakespeare. And we've been so glad to have wonderful Shakespeare directors who made it so that you didn't have to have a lot of Shakespeare knowledge to jump up there and be a part of a wonderful show.
During COVID, we've done some virtual programming, which was all new to us. And this is our show of Treasure Island. It was directed by Mike Jacari, who did an amazing job. And it was our first, virtual show this way, a play, adults, and it was a real pleasure to do. We hope to be doing more virtual shows in the future to bring. We also did some mutual musical theater. And I want to shout out to Renee Sura for showing us how to cut and edit all of this. It was brand new. Filming was new to us, but it was great to get the kids together and try something so big and different for us. We are really a community, and we are all parts of us. Tonight, our executive producer is not with us, Sharona Krinsky, and I wanted to say hello to her because she, along with our board, are instrumental in helping to put these shows up. This is the board out ticketing with us. They work inside the theater, outside the theater, all very important parts of who we are.
And that's John Bagakis, who's been a staple of the Encore community and helping us get situated in the community and be so surrounded.
John is a staple of the whole community. Who hasn't he helped?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We love him.
Also, Sue Fitzsimons is in there. She's been with Encore longer than I have, and I've been here almost 11 years. We are very, very grateful to all of our donors. We've been, Janice Hahn, County Supervisor Janice Hahn and Councilman Joe Buscaino have been so supportive of Encore Theater Group. The county, state, city organizations, we've been grantees, and we are very, very lucky to have that. It's kept our programs going. It allows us to scholarship, bring in students, and we are very grateful for that.
We've been so lucky to have a lot of our family donors as well, families and individuals who have been big contributors, and particularly during this pandemic, they've really stepped up, and we appreciate it so, so much to try and be able to open live theater someday again soon, we hope.
We hope so too. I just want to, I know this isn't part of your mission, but I just want to notice this is also leadership training. Back in the day, I was involved in community theater, and it really helped manage to a common goal, get people that are all volunteers to collaborate and work towards when the curtain goes up at 8 o'clock. And so it's a great experience for not just young people, but adults too, because it does create an enhanced sense of community. So for those of you that can donate, please do. And you'll be hearing that theme as we go through the guests today. Did you have anything else to add?
I would say that for Encore, we really are parts of a big piece of puzzles. There's so many legs, and we're so reliant on our families, our donors, our creative staff, our internal staff, all of us working together. It really takes all of us to do this. You are so right, and it all brings us to leadership positions and collaborative positions. We want you to know that we miss being at the Warner Grand so much. We are biting at the bit to get back into the theater. We thanks everyone for their patience and working with us through this, and we'll see you next year. We will be there. We look forward to it. In the meantime, we want everyone to be safe and happy and healthy during this time, and have very happy holidays to all of you.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank
So
you guys for
you
having
can
us.
stop screen sharing now, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. So we've talked to Carla, and now we're going to move on to Steve Fox. And as some of you know, Steve and I have history, and it's really an honor to see you, Steve, and have you be here today. I'm going to turn this off so you can share your screen.
All right. All right. Well, first of all, Linda, yes, thank you for having me on today and being a part of this and highlighting some of the great performing arts and things that happen here in San Pedro. Obviously, we wish that we could be on stage this year, but we all understand why, and safety is first. But we know we'll be back there again soon. As far as Golden State Pops Orchestra, I formed it back in 2002, and intending to be a full symphony orchestra, although it was under a community theater arts group that out in Orange County. And we were providing the musicians for their musicals, but I wanted it to be a symphony orchestra long term. And so we also did concerts along the way. It was actually on the Joint Forces military base out in Orange County. And my purpose of starting the orchestra was to focus on film, television, and video game music and media music. I really felt, especially at that time, that there were a lot of concerts that when people performed this kind of music, it was kind of a throwaway, just as a fundraiser, and it wasn't really getting its respect or its time on stage that I thought it deserved. And I wanted to highlight this music more and bring its stature on the concert stage to a higher level. Or as Christopher Young has said many times, we bring music to life a second time, first on the silver screen, and then we do it live on the concert stage. Obviously,
you really were a trailblazer, because not many orchestras at all were doing film music and hadn't really realized how accessible that made orchestra music.
Yeah, I think they didn't realize not just the quality of the music, but that it also acts as a gateway to make people who may not think about going to a symphony orchestra actually come to a symphony orchestra. And you're right. I think we were one of the first that really focused on that. Nowadays, obviously, there's film music concerts happening all over. There's been Star Wars concerts. There's movies live to film. I was in San Francisco a few years ago doing Little Mermaid. We've done a lot of shows with Disney and Columbia Arts Management at the Hollywood Bowl, and they become bigger and bigger and larger productions. But what's nice is that at the same time, this music is starting to also make its way to the classical stage, and more of these composers are composing classical music as well. Danny Elfman just did a violin concerto a year ago, and it becomes larger and larger like that. So after that year in Orange County, we went off on our own, became our own nonprofit. And in 2003, we were at the Scottish Rite Cathedral in Long Beach, which was called the Long Beach Event Center for a little while. And at the end of that year, they wanted to negotiate with us for a higher price. And I needed some firepower to go back to them and show them how their price wasn't comparable to other places. And I happened to call the Warner Grand, talk to Lee Sweet, someone that, as you said earlier, someone that we all love. And he asked me to come and visit the place. I had never been there. So I walk into the lobby, and the house manager then at the time greets me, and within steps inside the door says, "We'd love for this to be your home if you'd like to. which was a little shocking to me because I didn't know that was coming, but made me very happy. And within a few days, we had responded and said yes. And so we started performing at the Warner Grand. And, within years after that, became the orchestra in residence. And we've been there ever since, doing shows like A Spoonful of Sherman, where we had Richard Sherman in attendance. He came on stage at the end, spoke. He played It's a Small World with us. It was a pretty incredible evening. And I even said to him on stage at that point, at the end, when he was standing next to me, I said to the whole audience, I'm like, I can't believe I'm standing here right now next to the person that wrote all this great Disney music. I think my story was I'm somebody that comes from the Midwest, never thinking that I'd eventually be in the West Coast doing a concert with someone like him. We've done a lot of collaborations with record producer Robert Townsend, who's the most prolific film music producer and now does concerts around the world. One of them there's Drew Struzan, which was actually in a different venue, but we've done many with him. We did another one with him, was the Perez Sarabon 35th anniversary at the Warner Grand, where to a sold out crowd, we had something like 20 or 25 different A-list film composers in attendance and a part of the show, from Danny Elfman to Hans Zimmer to Michael Giacchino to Brian Tyler. The list goes on and on. It was an amazing concert and celebration for that label. And then we've done a lot of other family related concerts, Disney concerts, and concerts we've created. We always try to do things that a whole family could come to and enjoy, like the Holiday Pop Spectacular, which we're unfortunately not doing this year, but we've been doing it there since 2004, except for in 2018, when, because of some financial constraints, we had to take the year off. Then we came back again in 2019, and obviously right now that's not possible. This is a concert that has become a holiday tradition for well over 800 community members, over 100 musicians who look forward to it every year, even to many composers and people in the industry like John Debney, who's written movies like Elf, Christmas with the Cranks, Passion of the Christ, Jungle Book, Jingle Jangle, which is a new movie musical for the holidays on Netflix. He has been to many of our holiday concerts and told me once that his family looks at it as the beginning of the holiday season for them. They come, he's there for the rehearsal, they go to dinner, typically I think at Nico's, and then they come back to the theater and he's in the concert, and they said it puts them in the spirit. And I think there's a lot of people that agree with it, such as other guests we've had, like the voice of Disneyland, Bill Rogers, Broadway star Shoshana Bean, who sang Let It Go, Wendy Barnes-Farrell, vocalist, a lot of people in San Pedro know, which was another great concert. And then we like to add little things to the concert and try to surprise people, like last year when we did the 30-minute animated cartoon film, The Snowman, live, music performed live with the orchestra, singers, and the narration by Bill Rogers. So that was also a great event and great thing that we like to add to our shows. Now, when we're planning the holiday pops, right now, some people may be wondering, what does it take to put these concerts together? And what would we be doing right now at the beginning of December? Well, prior to this week, we would have been working on what the music was going to be. Back in August or September, we would have been trying to find some new holiday music, maybe from films or television shows, and contacting the composers and getting permissions and licensing and arranging the music and putting all the pieces together, figuring out what special guests we can bring to make it a special evening, and making all of this come together so that it can lead to the last few weeks where we are finishing arrangements and the fine tuning the show. We are making sure all contracts are in place for everything that's going to be a part of the show, making sure the orchestra is set, which many people probably don't know this, but there's always some seats of the orchestra that actually don't get filled until the week of the show, especially during the holidays, because musicians are so busy. But it's part of the job. You just you keep going until you get it full, and you always walk into the rehearsal looking around as a conductor going, hey, the seats are full, and you're really happy when that happens. You're working with the special guests to make sure they have everything that they need for them to show up, maps, where to park, where they can eat, what do they need in the theater to make them happy, when will they show up for rehearsal, what dressing room needs that they have. And we'd be working on all that right now. We'd be working on the actual stage production. What are we going to do with the lighting? What sound requirements do we have that are different than usual? Is there going to be a backdrop? Do we need a stage extension? all of these things would be finalizing, or at least making sure that we've put them in place. Part of that would also be contacting Cindy at San Pedro Ballet and asking for the decorations in the lobby to stay up throughout December so that we can enjoy those, which we greatly appreciate. And then the volunteers, making sure we have ushers and ticket takers and people to help set up the stage and tear down the stage, and runners for the guests, because when we have guests at our concerts, they are not backstage the entire time. For most of our concerts, they like to go to the audience, so we have to have people that go from the audience to backstage and as quietly as possible get them to where they need to be when they need to be there. That takes 2 or 3 people typically. That's all they're focused on for the night, plus our stage managers and other people that it takes just to make these shows possible. I think we heard earlier, it takes a huge group of people. It takes a village. You know, our shows really, if you were to add up everybody, including the musicians, there's easily 150 to 200 people that are involved in some of these concerts, especially when we have a choir involved, to be able to make them happen. We would also have a choir rehearsing. They typically, for our shows, start rehearsing in late October or November for our December concerts. And the first week of December, would be going to meet with them for a few hours and, you know, make sure everything's going the way that we need. And then we get to the week of the show. On Wednesday night, we all meet in the Warner Grand for rehearsal. This is the only rehearsal other than the dress rehearsal that the orchestra gets for the holiday concerts. So it's a 3-hour rehearsal. The orchestra reads through everything. The choir comes in. As you can see the way we're set up here, that's how we rehearse in the Warner Grand. We don't bring the risers in for the choir. We don't set up all of the sound. And so they sit behind me so I can hear them, because if they had to project over the orchestra from behind the orchestra, I would never hear them. And then they actually hear themselves a little bit better from out there as well. So I get to conduct in the round when it comes to rehearsals with choirs. And we put that together. Then we get to Saturday when the show is. We usually get into the theater sometime between 10 a.m. and noon. We make sure everything's set up and ready to go the way we need it. The sound system gets set up, lighting gets dialed in, and at 3 or 4 o'clock, we do a rehearsal just to run everything through. That's also, the dress rehearsal is when guest conductors get a chance to work with the group, or any soloists get to come in and work with us. Sometimes a soloist will come on the Wednesday night, but typically they wait till the dress rehearsal. And then it's showtime at 8 o'clock, and we put on the show. And you know, something kind of unique about our concerts that I know, you know, Linda, you commented about over the years, is that we do all this work and create these productions that really are more than just an orchestra sitting there playing music. There's a lot more involved than that. We try to make it an experience for the audience. And we do it once and it's done. And we don't do second performances of it. So it's a lot of work, but you know, there's a part of us that, you know, wishes we could do it more. The unique part of it is it's a once in a lifetime experience for everybody. It happens once and it never happens again. Now, you know, there may be shows in the future where we try to do more performances, but up to now, that's the way it's been. And as tradition has happened over the years, it does snow in San Pedro on the nights of our concerts, you know, with the magic of Christmas and the holidays and the spirit of the season with the music that we play. So it's a fun time for everybody. Unfortunately, as we all know, the concert will not be happening, but we do have some things happening this month that we hope people will enjoy. One is the 12 Days of Christmas GSPO style. I will be releasing one promo highlight video from past Holiday Pops concerts every day starting on December 14th through social media, through email, possibly on our website. So every day somebody has something from our Holiday Pops they can enjoy over those 12 days. We also are doing a Holiday Pops virtual event. This is actually, we've teased about this up to now. This is the first real announcement of it. In 2 weeks from tonight, December 17th at 6 p.m., John Debney will be joining me online to do a Q&A about his career and about working on holiday films. It will be a live chat, so people can chime in and ask questions through the chat room. We will be featuring a string quartet called the Orchid Quartet, which is made up of a lot of GSPO musicians. And they will be performing holiday music periodically throughout the hour, as well as some arrangements, brand new world premiere arrangements of some of John Debney's holiday music. And that's a $20 event. There's a little surcharge fee on that as well. And then we are also pairing with it a wine tasting option that if you'd like to, you can sign up for an additional wine tasting that has a separate cost. They will send you a 3-bottle flight of wine about a week before the event. And then we will have an ambassador that during the event will chime in every so often to say a couple words about a bottle of wine as you taste it, as you watch the quartet perform. So we can't do the big concert, but we thought we would try to do something unique that may be fun for everybody and get some holiday music directly into your home and a nice discussion with the incredible film composer, John Debney. And lastly, this month, we're doing a GSBO behind the scenes next Thursday at 8 p.m. for Golden Circle members. Golden Circle members are anybody who has donated $100 or more to the Golden State Pops in the last year or so, where myself, as well as music director Victor Pesavento, and the concert producer and record executive producer, Robert Townsend, we'll just be chatting for an hour about past GSBO concerts and how we put them together and our philosophies and what it took and taking questions about them and having an enjoyable time. And that's a free event as long as you're a member of the Golden Circle. So if you're not, go to gsbo.com, and if you donate $100 or more, you'll get an invite to that. Beyond that, we are planning the future. We are working on another video game soundtracks concert for once we are able to do concerts again. We are working on more family events like various Disney concerts. We are working on revamping our music from the Star Wars universe that we did, I think, either 7 or 10 years ago now. I can't remember, but we're taking that and working with Disney concerts to put together something that people have never seen before that will represent music from the films, cartoons, television shows, and video games of Star Wars, along with projections. It's going to be a pretty amazing thing once we put that together. That's something we're working on. And then lastly, we are working with Robert Townsend again to put together another gala-style concert with guest composers and conductors and movie directors or producers, which is something that next Thursday during the behind the scenes chat, we will actually be talking a little bit more about what that is. So we do have a future ahead, even though we're not quite sure when it's going to happen, but we have stuff we're working on. And if you're interested in more information or in any of these events or in making a donation, just visit us at gspo.com. And
Thank you, Steve.
thank you for the time.
That was a quick overview of what goes on for at least several months before the concert, years in advance with all the planning. So thank you for being here. That's really great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Let me stop my
Stop
share.
sharing your screen and share my screen. So before we move on to our other guests, can everybody see this screen? People are nodding good. We are also a nonprofit, and in time for holiday shopping, we have made a jigsaw puzzle out of part of the mural in the Lillian Furman walkway. And because of a really wonderful volunteer, Cheryl Holtzman, it's available in 3 retail spaces: Sirens Java and Tea, crafted at the Port of Los Angeles, and the Corner Store. And if you can't make it out to do that, you can always go online on our website and buy a puzzle that way. So we really appreciate the opportunity to get this mural out there in a different format. And we hope that this is something that helps with your holiday shopping. So we're going to move on to Julianne Thompson, and she is the artistic director of the Dance Factory. And I'm going to stop sharing.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's good to see you.
The Dance Factory was established in 1989, and it was established actually as the South Bay Sunray Stars under the direction of Janice Ray. She owned it for 21 years before she sold it to me in 2010. So I've been the owner and artistic director now for 10 years. And within that 10 years, we've trained dancers to get commercial dance jobs, scholarships for colleges, professional dance programs, cheerleaders, and a lot of dance teachers have come out of our studio. And we've earned 6 consecutive Best of Palos Verdes awards, where we have called our home for the last 13 years. And to wrap up kind of our establishment, we have a competition team, and they have been so great for the last 30 years that they bring multiple awards. And so I just wanted to share some of my favorite memories of the last 10 years with some of my competition kids.
Julianne, some of those kids look oddly familiar.
Yes, I'm so lucky to have the Foxes as my students, and we love them. They're great little dancers.
That's just my daughters. I'm not one of those students, though, unfortunately.
That's true, just the girls. But
Well, I think that's what's really cool about sorry to interrupt, but about the Warner Grand, it does create a sense of community where we realize that we are all interconnected, and that's what's really lovely about it. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, that's so true. What's really actually awesome is just a couple months ago, we got a call from Cindy Bradley at San Pedro, and she invited us to come check out the studio. And we have found a new home in San Pedro, and we're really excited to be a part of the community, and really happy to be working with Cindy and Patrick, and just feel really lucky that we had this opportunity during quarantine and everything going on. So with that, you get 2 dance schools under one location, and between both companies, we offer ballet, jazz, contemporary, lyrical, hip hop, acro, tap, modern, Pilates, stretch extensions, and turns and jumps. And it's just been a blessing really collaborating together so far. You know, we're really lucky and happy to be working with them. Unfortunately, LA has us outside, so we are not allowed to go inside, but we are very blessed because Cindy and Patrick, they jump at any opportunity to make things happen. So they built us this outdoor area within 2 days, and a couple of our dance dads helped. But we were able to provide a space for all the ballerinas and the Dance Factory dancers so they could continue their lessons in person. And then we were lucky enough to be invited on Good Day LA and celebrate the news with, you know, an even bigger community, all of South Bay. So again, we're just really happy and lucky to be a part of the San Pedro community, and lucky that Cindy has, you know, welcomed us.
We're happy you're part of the community too. That's an amazing pivot. And quickly it happened really early on.
Yeah, it happened really fast, but we're very lucky. So just the Dance Factory is kind of special to us because we're able to offer different things for different students, the kids that just want to dance weekly, and then some that want to perform in the community, and then some that want to compete. And then lastly, this was our last performance that we were able to do in the community. It was last Christmas time. We do local performance at Festival of Trees in Torrance. And as you can see, we have the little 3-year-olds in there, and then we have our hip hop dancers and all of our elite team. And they love this performance because this is when we get to dance to Christmas music, and you know, they're surrounded by trees, and it's for a good cause. So we do miss performing, but we're happy, you know, to be where we are right now. And lastly, we are getting ready for our competition season. Hopefully it happens. It's going to be coming up in the new year. So over the years, we've been blessed with many talented dancers, and these are just a few of them. And we're able to teach lyrical, contemporary, jazz, musical theater, tap, hip hop, acro, and open. And as you can see, the kids love the stage. And right there in the middle is a Fox number 2. So Steve actually has 4 kids, And I have 3 of them so far. I'm going to get the 4th one in a couple months.
You always need boys with dance.
We love having boys with dance.
Yes, who
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, the girls need someone to,
Partner with.
yeah. So that's us. That's the Dance Factory. And you can find us at our website or our phone number or our email.
Well, thank you, Julianne. That was lovely.
Thank you.
I love hearing everybody's origin stories.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on in the presentation to Cindy Bradley. I made a slide for you. This too.
Hi.
Cindy and I are neighbors, and I really did appreciate your leaving up the Christmas decorations because it made the lobby so much more festive for a whole month. So thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. So I wanted to say I am the artistic director along with my husband, Patrick Bradley, who's not here, of San Pedro City Ballet. And I'm so happy to hear all of these stories. I do feel so much more connected through this, Linda. Thank you. And we are so excited that Dance Factory is now here with us at San Pedro Ballet building. And it's been wonderful on so many levels. And it has made it so that we are mostly focused on ballet now. And Julie brings all of her expertise in the other areas. And we also have modern. And right now we would be getting ready for the parade like all of you guys and moving into the theater next week, but we'll get into that. We started in, get my notes here. We started in 1994. We opened a studio at the Terraces up on Western, the same place Julie just moved out of. And our mission was to bring dance to, we're getting our slides ready. This was the original group we started with. You can see there's a famous little face there, Misty Copeland. But our mission was to to create a pre-professional company, train and have them perform from the diverse population of Los Angeles. And so we thought, well, we can open a studio and people will they'll all come in. And actually we had our first Nutcracker auditions and we did have 60 people come in from the community. And they had never danced, most of them. And we put them all on stage. But I'll get more into that later. But we did realize that we needed to spread the word. And so we took our program into elementary schools all over Los Angeles. And we also, I started a class of the Boys and Girls Club the first year. And that's where I discovered Misty Copeland. And I'm pretty certain that most people who are watching this have heard of her. She went on to become a very, very famous ballerina and a groundbreaking ballerina. And these are some of our dance ed kids that is at the Warner Grand Theater. And that's 15th Street School. And they perform every year in our recital. And this is a group from Wisdom Elementary, and we were teaching them. That was our last group that we taught in person. We're now doing our dance ed classes on Zoom, and we're in Barton Hill and a couple of other schools in Los Angeles. And then we then went to, we missed this performance this year, but we've been doing an annual production, our little patriotic themed performance at the Port of LA. And it's become really a favorite for our dancers and for us. And we do it on Memorial Day. And
This is the deck of the Iowa, right?
Yes. Yes, at the Iowa. So we get to dance for a lot of veterans come to that show, and it's touching. They appreciate it. And going on, then we would normally, like I said, be going. This is part of our spring recital. but we also missed. We were actually supposed to perform this piece in Palm Springs and didn't get to. But we normally are going into the theater now for the Nutcracker. This is still our spring. We could go a little faster with these. But instead, we are dancing outside, and Julie described that to you. I'll do this. And there's our famous decorations that we put up for Steve and the rest of you. And this is what I was going to talk about, getting ready for the Nutcracker. And I think just like Encore and the orchestra, I mean, it's the most special time. Backstage, getting ready, all the action, all the bonding of the dancers and the costumes and the sets and the excitement. This is a vintage photo many years back. I think actually that's my son when he was a little boy over there. And this was, I believe, 2 years ago, maybe even
I see
last
Joe
year.
in that picture.
Yeah, Boscaino's in that, yes. And this is Patrick Bradley, his favorite thing to do all year. And he's so sad he's not doing it. This is from several years back. This is right before our big fight scene, and all the magic begins to happen, and then the fight scene begins. We love the Warner Grand. It's very intimate, and it's hard to do a performance this big there, and I'm sure you guys can relate, but it's so worth it. There are about 200 people in the cast. We begin rehearsals in September. And this is we have snow falling at the Warner Grand also. And our little angels, and they really are little angels. And the kids come to our school sometimes as early as 2, and they stay until they graduate from high school sometimes, and a lot of times actually, and they get to do all of the different roles. So they really look forward to moving up into a different part each year. And we also go out to the lobby after the show, and that is really special because you can't really see the audience when you're on stage. You can feel them, but you can't really see them. And going out and being congratulated and giving autographs is always a great thing for the kids. Our first performance was at the San Pedro High School, and we, I'll just go back to that, and we outgrew that really quickly. I mean, we needed a stage, a larger stage, and we also sold a lot of tickets. I mean, we were really embraced by the community from the very beginning. And so we went to the Warner Grand and ended up, it needed some upgrades, and we went to El Camino for several years and then came back to the Warner Grand. And we still have an intern program with San Pedro High, and they help backstage. And we still have that partnership with them. So since we're not going to be on stage this year, we're going to show last year's performance online. It'll be on our website at sanpedrocityballet.org starting December 12th at 5 o'clock, and it'll stay up. And there's also a donate button there if people are inclined to give. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Cindy. I really miss seeing Mother Ginger, I have to say. That Scott is hilarious.
I know, and he retired.
Oh, no.
Retired. I mean, maybe since we missed a year and he didn't do it, I don't know, maybe we can get him back.
I think you could work him and see if you can get him back.
I know, he's wonderful.
Well, thank you. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and we can finish this up. Thank you, Cindy.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I want to thank all the people that helped today: Carla, Steve, Julianne, Cindy, Thalia, and Tatiana, who are our interns. They started with us last summer and they're still with us. Cheryl Holtzman and the board of the San Pedro Waterfront Arts District. We also want to wish you a happy holiday season. It's been a really strange year. Stay strong, stay safe, and we'll see you live one of these days. And I also wanted to mention that we started this Armchair Artwalk Tour when Pat was still alive. And she was the one that started the in-person tours on First Thursday. And we do these in her memory. She passed away on her birthday in June, so we really miss her. And then if you want to, we're going to take a little bit of a break between now and next year. And we'll be sending out emails when we program the next one. So thank you very much for being here. And we hope you have a nice holiday season. I think we stopped sharing. Do you guys have any questions for each other?
No, good job, everybody, though.
That was wonderful.
It does say record.
Mute.
Good.
There you go.
Okay.
What?
Thank you so much for having us. That was a lot of fun. It was so great to be with all of you too, that are big parts of the arts culture. It's so nice to hear from everybody and inspirational, everything everybody's doing.
You're very welcome. And you guys do great work. And it's nice to see all of you together in the same Zoom room.
And to know we're all going to be here after.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We will persevere.
I'm so excited to see your stuff. I have to be honest, it's learning about everything. First of all, thank you for including us. We really feel, Christiana and I were texting, like, it's just such an honor to be included with you guys. Thank you so much for including us.
You're
But
very welcome.
it's like all of a sudden I just want to hear live music and I want to see live dance so badly. Do you know what I mean? I'm like looking at all those little kids. I'm like, so thank you. I'm going to try to get online and look at what you guys are producing, at least be able to see it that way this year. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I second all that, and Linda as well. Thank you for having me on here. Before I got on at 5:30, I was getting ready and doing all these things, and I was trying to find something to eat really quick. And my wife goes, "Steve, you're acting like you're going to a concert." I said, "That's what happens when it's been 9 months since I've done anything." It's like just a Zoom call means a lot.
You're such a great speaker. All of you did great, though.
Yeah, everybody did good.
Well, I think of this as that's what's so exhausting I think about Zoom, is that it is a performance, even though you're just having a meeting. And Steve and I have talked about this a lot, about being in show energy. And it's a whole, you guys know this really well, a whole theatrical process that you go through to do this. And so it's an honor to be able to bring everybody together. And we'll do it again next year at the end of the year. We'll be talking about live stuff that you're doing.
Yes.
So, Tatiana, did you have a question?
Did I?
Have a question. Tatiana doesn't have a question. Tatiana is a flute player.
Ah, flute.
That's right.
She's just having a quiet evening today. You're not saying anything.
Sorry about that. I was like running something. But yeah, I just finished playing again also before this. Yeah. Cause I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Wilmington parade that I know the Encore Theater Group, they're doing a virtual version of it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
The
So like
Cathedral parade is a virtual version. The Chamber of Commerce is doing a virtual parade. I think they're just running previous parades.
yeah. Well, we're running in like new stuff. So just recently, what my band is doing is we're playing Baby It's Cold Outside, and we're showing us like going through and like with like a lot of clothes on, going through and showing our Christmas, how we normally do things.
Nice. Kind of a controversial lyric in that song, but okay.
Yeah.
But if it's the band is playing, right? So it's just the
No vocals.
So we all submit our own versions of playing it. Like we have like taps going on in the background for us as though it's like the director. And then he puts all of it together in one big video.
Very cool.
That's a skill unto itself.
I had to do that for the El Segundo concert band, a community band in El Segundo I conduct. We did virtual recordings. Last week I released Sea Songs by which is a march. Yesterday we released Stars and Stripes Forever, and next week we release a video game tune called Baba Yetu, and yeah, bringing all the audio together and putting the video with it. And it's I told the board of that group it would probably take me 30 to 40 hours to do 3 songs, and I think right now I'm up to 60 hours and I only got 2 done.
I bet. Oh my gosh.
But
You know, I didn't say we moved down here.
Well, I want to thank everybody again for doing this. I know it's not easy to put together the slides to tell your story, and hopefully that'll help you when you're out in the world and you have to do your elevator pitch. So thank you all for being here. I will send you